Behind the Scenes. I'm Angela Wolf, your host, and today we have a very special guest for you. But before we get started, if you've never been here before, welcome. If you're watching this on YouTube, welcome. And pop in, say hi, and as always, say where you're from because you never know if your neighbor's sewing with you, which we have found. There are people who live 2 blocks away that are watching the show together. So how are you? If you've been following me on Instagram, you know that I have been busy sewing, fishing, boating, and a few other little things. Trying to stay out of trouble, right? So, I finished the outfit. So, who we have today, we have Matthew, aka Mr. Domestic, is coming on the show to say hi. He launched officially a new pattern collection. So this rayon, I'm going to bring you guys up here. I see you all rolling in, so pop in, say hi. Of course, we're a little early today, but let me bring you back here. Check this out. This skirt, you might have seen me wear on the boat this weekend. It makes an awesome bathing suit cover-up. Awesome, yeah. And he paired it, he let us pick out our own fabrics, but I paired it with a cotton knit, which I don't normally use because I like the rayon so much. I'm telling you, this fabric has already been washed and dried 3 times. That's how many times I've worn it, and it looks amazing. So let me just make sure you can roll in here. If you're not on Instagram, I'll share the photos with you later, but I had to share this. So let me get you centered, and I'm going to bring Matthew up here. I see you all rolling in. Good morning, girls. I know we're so much earlier, and Matthew is such a great sport, although he said he gets up early. I forgot he's in Pacific time, so, oh boy. I would have been, usually the show's at 1, remember? Or 1:30, so he's probably thinking great, but then he didn't realize that I was going to bring him up early. So, Matthew, you're a great sport. Everybody's saying they love the skirt. Hi, everyone. You ready to meet Matthew? Let me bring him up here. Now, by the way, I'm going to warn you, he has more fabric than I do, I think. I think there's a witness to this. So, bring him up here. Hey, welcome, Matthew.
Yay! Hi, everybody. Hi.
Okay. That is, you have so much fabric back there.
I do. I've got a lot. Yeah, like I'll even take you off. See, like I'm good. I'm good.
Is that obviously that's your sewing studio?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the only time. I'm not gonna show you the floor because my.
Oh my gosh!
But you can see my fabric because that's pretty. I keep that. Like I take care of my fabric. The rest of the stuff in my room, not so much. But yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
That is very cool.
Thanks.
Okay, hold on. I'm just trying to get this one thing off of your face. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. There you go.
Do I have something on my face?
So, Matthew, I am so excited to be part of your huge launch here of this fabric collection. When you first contacted me, I love your stuff. And you might not know this, but I don't quilt unless it goes on my body because I spend all this time quilting jackets, which I love quilting. It just goes into a garment and not on a wall. But your items, ever since you started blogging for Brother, that's where I was introduced to you to.
Right.
Is amazing, and I absolutely love it. So those of you that don't know Matthew, tell us a little bit about yourself. You're from Texas, but now you live in...
I live right outside of Portland. I'm in Washington because the taxes are better, but it's like 20 minutes from Portland. So yeah, we discovered this area. It's gorgeous. Have a husband, have a 5-year-old. She's the love of my life. And she is when I started getting into sewing hardcore. Like I started to sew apparel for her, like the first 2 years. And then somehow I landed in quilting. Like the internet kind of like blew up in social media and I got into quilting like 3 years ago. And then now I have fabric. Like it's wackadoodle. Like what's going on? It's weird.
Not just fabric. Awesome fabric.
Thank you.
Fabric that even doing garment sewing as myself. Now this is one of my basic patterns that I use that a beginner could use, my Kate skirt, which turned out to be an awesome bathing suit cover-up, which you saw.
I know. I was like, fancy. Look at you living the high life.
I told my husband, I had sunscreen all over and like just a sweaty mess. It was about 100 degrees out there. And I said, okay, just take a quick photo. And he took a photo. I go, no, I have a bathing suit on, just the skirt. And he's like, okay, I'm trying. So
it looked great. Good. Tell your husband, good job. He did good.
Good, yeah. So then I had to finish the tops to go with, and I finished 2 because there was enough fabric. That's a new pattern coming out, and this is my ruche tee, which is a t-shirt. It's so comfortable. But that rayon, now I went through all of your fabrics, and mostly what you have is cotton.
Yeah, it's mostly quilter's cotton, right.
But this is a rayon. I hope you come out with more. Mm-hmm. I'm going to leave a link on the blog later for where people can find this. But you gave me a whole list, so they can they go to, you just give them the rundown, because I don't know if I know.
For me to find me
for this rayon fabric.
Yeah, it's with Art Gallery Fabrics, and it's from my Love to Pieces collection, which was my debut collection. You can find it like a lot of places. The best way is just to Google Love to Pieces fabric, and it'll pop up where it's all located. But that's the rundown on that. And then you can find me everywhere.
I think I saw fabric.com had it. I mean, it's awesome. So I brought a few extra pieces here to show everyone, because Matthew, I always order just a little bit extra in case I made a mistake before, especially because he's doing this blog tour, for those of you that don't know this yet. And that's why I wanted to bring him on. So we each were allowed 30 of us, and I went through your list, your rundown. I am honored to be part of your 30-day blog tour.
Oh my God, I'm so honored to have you. You're a boss. Like, you're the stuff. Like, your pictures are everywhere. I love you. You're amazing.
Well, ditto right back, Matthew. So I ordered enough in case I screwed up, okay? So everyone always says, how much fabric do you order? And I always tell everyone, 2-3 yards. Well, I ordered 3 for a skirt, but I didn't screw up. So now I have enough for a bathing suit. Like
Girl, I knew. That's what's so fun about me sewing everything. Like, I sew everything. Like, I know how much people should be asking for. So I'm like,
I
ordered really? But for you, I was like, whatever, just take it all, make stuff.
I ordered 1.5 yards more. So now I can make a dress or something. Well, I don't think I have enough for a dress, but it's wider than I had thought. For some reason, I was thinking that it wasn't going to be wide enough to make a whole skirt, and then to line up the pattern. But the pattern is a repeat about every 4 inches.
Right.
So it was pretty simple. So I put all of that on my blog today for people to review of how to cut it to keep the pattern. Now, what do you think of this? See if you guys can see this. This is the side seam. I'll bring you a little closer here.
Ooh.
I see a lot of people asking you questions too, so I have to bring these up. But can you even tell the side seam? Doesn't it look awesome? No,
it's beautiful.
That's a good match. And this is the side with the zipper, and you can't even hardly tell where it is.
Wow.
That was the first try too. See, I didn't even have to use the extra 1.5 yards.
Yeah, with rayon even. That's amazing. She's got skills, y'all. She's got skills.
I will say, it reminded me of working with silk charmeuse, because it's slippery, but all I did is I serged all the edges before I started sewing, because it does fray a little bit. Not a lot though. And a lot of pressing while you're sewing. And this, like I mentioned, I've already washed and dried this twice. In the washer, in the dryer, and all I had to do was give it a quick pressing at the hem. That was it.
And the color is staying, and it's still good quality and all that?
That's my big thing, is the color. And I actually washed both these tops and that together, cool water, the dryer actually accidentally got put on the hot timer. So, I mean, that stuff should have been melted, and it turned out awesome. So if I can't screw it up, I can't boil an egg, but I can sew some fabric and I can wash it.
They're stunning. You're just so talented what you can do in apparel. It's amazing.
But isn't it amazing? Now, I'm going to ask you this about quilting.
Yeah.
Because some of the most, like, this is such a basic pattern, both of these. So for someone just starting out sewing knits or sewing a skirt, they could do it. I have YouTube videos to follow along. So with quilting, sometimes I will look at some of the work that you've done. It looks like it would take hours and hours and hours. And then I'll go through and look at one of your blog posts, and I'll think, you made it look so easy. Some of the simpler designs using really good fabrics or really cool colors, is that true with the quilting?
That it's easy?
That it's easier than it looks, because sometimes
yeah, I mean, there are some of my quilts that have taken hundreds of hours, right? But for the most part, most of my quilts are pretty easy peasy. It's basically different language. But if you can sew, this is what I say for apparel sewists, if you can sew like an armhole, like on a button-up shirt, like you can do anything. That's like the hardest thing in sewing as far as I'm concerned. So, there are some quilts that I've made that take like 3-4 hours. It's
That
lovely.
is true. A lot of people say that armholes are the worst.
They are.
So I'm going to bring up, let me just see if I can bring up your, maybe. I think I can add it here. I'm going to see if I can bring up your, yeah, here we go. I think you'll be able to see it. I'm bringing up, okay, there's your, I'm going to take myself out of it.
Oh,
There's your website.
that's me.
Yeah, these things, I'm going through here. Now, number one, you have a ton of contests. So those that want to win some fabric, oh my
Oh
gosh.
yeah, I love giveaways. Like I don't know. I'm so honored and humbled by like the growth of Mr. Domestic, and if people like offer to give stuff away through me, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So I'm always giving stuff away.
That's great. Now, is this your little girl, the
It
butterfly
is.
wing?
It is. Yeah.
Okay, let me bring her up here.
My lady. Her name is Helena. She's fantastic. She's like a mini me, but cool.
How old is she?
She's 5 and almost a half.
Oh my gosh, my nephews, whom I just like, I have my Cody moment of the week. He's 7 now, but the stuff that they come up with to say is amazing. So,
It's crazy.
Did you design this?
No, it's a wife made pattern. I had a call out to makers for my market booth, for spring quilt market. I picked 20 people, more starting out people that I picked, and someone made those.
That's
for
awesome.
Helena. Yeah, I was like what everyone did. I was so impressed. Like it's so like this whole fabric design thing. I'm blown away by just the love I've received and what everyone's making, and it's really cool.
I'm going to go back up here just to your blog party. I know it's on here somewhere. I'll find it while we're chatting. Okay, so while we're chatting, let me take this back out. I have a question.
Party.
How did this fabric design come about? Because I have had people ask me, why don't you come out with your own knit collection? Why don't you come out with fabric? Well, I have a hard enough time getting enough patterns out as far as tell me how this fabric came about, because the designs that you had in there, it was almost impossible to choose. They were beautiful, beautiful colors, rich colors, but still at the same time, I mean, I just loved it. And the pink inside of these blues and teals used a lot of pink in there, and just touches of stuff. And oh my gosh, I love it. Yay. So tell me how this happened.
How did I become a fabric designer?
Yeah.
I joke that I'm like an accidental fabric designer. Because this whole journey, it's like, I'm just going with the flow of it. And it's been crazy that I started as an ambassador for art gallery fabrics. Like, I was their global ambassador. They called me a socialite because of my personality. They didn't think ambassador was cool enough. And I started working with their fabrics. And I did parties, and I was exclusive to them. And the reason that I was able to go exclusive was since I sew everything, like I do apparel and quilts, they have different substrates. Like they have wool, they have rayon, they have knits, they have canvas, they have denim, and then they have quilters cotton. So I was like, okay, I won't be missing out on anything really. So I went exclusive with them. My intention was never to become a fabric designer. I was just like, okay, free fabric. Yay! That's my ta-da. But then it's like I got curious. And the more I worked with all of these fabrics, because I have a high output. I make a lot of stuff like really fast. I didn't realize it till the internet. But I just started seeing it. And then I became friends with the creative director. And I decided, you know what, let me sit down and see what I can do. Because you don't know till you try. I didn't know. I sat down and I did it. And she kept pushing me and pushing me harder. And then finally it's like something snapped or clicked in my head where I was like, oh, I need to next level all this. So I just envisioned, like, if I had one shot to make a collection, what would I want in it? It needs to be super personal. It needs to be fabrics that I can use for everything. And I just did it. And I just felt like I was proving myself, because since I was their ambassador, I felt like I had to be even more awesome than people would think, because I didn't want them to think I got it just because like I had a way in. And I did it, and I loved it. And it's super duper fun. I've already designed my second collection that's coming out in October. Then I still need to design my third one that's coming out next May.
Wow.
And it's wild. Like, it's way fun. And then seeing other people make with my fabric, oh, that's crazy. I love it. So that's how it happened.
This is only, for those of you who don't know, this is day 3. I'm going to bring this up because I did find it. This is a stack of all your fabrics for this one, right?
Those are my fabrics. That's Love to Pieces, y'all.
So you can see mine right there, third down. I mean, they're just beautiful colors.
Thank you.
the blog party, if you go to mrdomestic.net, here's his whole blog party of everyone. I'm day 3. The reason, and usually I'm the last because that's what I prefer, but I'm going to be fishing for the next week and a half, and then I have the Brother big launch of all their new machines and stuff, and then taping It So Easy, and I thought, I better go first, or you're never going to get your garment.
Oh, thank you.
So I looked at the quilts from the last 2 days. The young girl that shows her quilt, for those of you that aren't on Instagram, is there a way for them to see these? Are you going to put them on your blog or anything?
Yeah, I'm going to have a recap every week. So the final one for this week is on Saturday. So I'm going to write it on Sunday. And every Sunday, I'm going to have a recap blog of all of the projects so people can see them. If you want to go to mrdomestic.net, and it's Mr. spelled out, M-I-S-T-E-R, then I'll have a recap of all of the projects and stuff. And then they're on my Facebook. Like, I'm posting links to all the blogs on my Facebook, so you can go to the Mr. Domestic Facebook.
Okay, so those of you that are on Facebook right now,
Yeah.
those that are watching on YouTube, go to Instagram or Facebook or go to his blog. But here's the thing. That quilt, the young girl that was holding up on the beach, where does she live? Hawaii?
No, she lives, I think she might live in Utah. I don't know, but she was in Kauai, like, vacationing. And I was like, okay.
I'm like, okay, so I'm all excited that I get like this cute picture of the skirt on a boat, and I'm looking, and she's like standing on a cliff with this gorgeous quilt, and I'm like, oh my god!
I was like, okay, just rub it in, rub it in.
It was beautiful, but that quilt that she made. Now I know how long it takes to make these couple outfits. Quilts take way longer, and those girls, I've only had the fabric for like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
If that was awesome.
She went to it, and then she designed a pattern around it too. With like, she went for it. I'm like, oh, I'm so honored.
That's amazing.
But, yeah, it was gorgeous. I'm looking forward to all the projects so far. Like, I'm blown away every day. Like, it's so cool.
Okay, so I have some questions for you. Do you mind if I bring them up?
Oh, go for it.
All right, let me. I'm gonna take this off so we have room for it.
Is everyone having fun? Woo!
Everybody's having fun. In fact, I think Jude is probably the happiest. She's from the Jude, I always say it, the Neverlands.
Neverland. She's from the Netherlands.
Her garments are awesome, so it should be in the Neverlands because they're awesome. But Jude always has to. We like make her stay up late past her bedtime. So today she's happy. So hey, okay, Matthew, this is from Jackie. Do you? Oh. I can tell it's early. I'm like, FMQ. Is that? Yes, I got it. Free motion quilting. I'm a little slow on that. I'm thinking, OMG, I know that one. LOL, FMQ. On a standard machine or long arm, which one do you prefer?
I prefer to send mine off to someone to quilt for me. But, but when I do it, I've long armed before. And it was really fun, but it's not like my joy space. But I have free motion quilted on my Dreamweaver. I love my Felicia. I have got a brother Dreamweaver, and she's amazing. I've done it. I just, for bigger projects, I don't have the skill to do it yet. And it's like, there's so many things to learn in sewing that you kind of just have to choose, right? Like,
right.
That's it. So, but I've done it on both. But Brother does have this neato thing, and I was taking a break from Brother for a little bit to see how becoming a designer integrated into my life, and I think I'm going to reach out, especially with you saying there's new stuff. I'm going to reach out, and I might get, they have something. I forgot what it's called, though.
Oh, well, I can tell you one thing. I can't tell you the new stuff coming out, but I can tell you about something that I have here that I use. There's different machines you can get with it, but I use the Dream Frame, fabric Dream Frame.
That's it. Right.
But now they have, like when I first got it, I have a sewing machine on there, and I do my own free motion because I do a lot of thread painting and things like that. So I don't really have a need for anything more than that. But I am drooling about something that they've come out with the last 2 years, and they've made it even better, is a software where you can just, like, you pick your design, and I've played with the software because I have the software. I just haven't used it on the quilt. I use it on the computer, and I've been designing patterns. You literally take this machine and hit each square of where you want your design that you just designed on the computer and hit go, and it quilts whatever you have. I mean,
I want to do that. So basically, I need to reach out to Jessica. It's still Jessica, right? Or is someone different? Okay, I'm gonna reach out to her.
I'll see her in a couple weeks. I'll have to mention because you'll have to see this. It's amazing. And then you can design anything you want to match your fabric, and then you hit quilt and you quilt.
How exciting! I love, like, that's one of my favorite things on Felicia is the embroidery component. Like, I'm not an embroiderer, but I love just push and go and watching her work. And I'm just like sitting there like, don't you know? It's fun. I don't
Isn't
mind
it
if my
great?
machine sews for me. It's great.
There's so many new things. And then I use personally on the Dream Machine, they have the quilting designs that you can use in my design center. So I touch a button and watch it embroider, and it looks like I did all this work and I didn't. So
And be like, I did it. Sure.
yeah, I did it. I love the sewing part. Okay, so Karen wants to know, did you cut the skirt on the bias? No, I did not. So that print that you see right here is from Salvage to Salvage. I did not cut it on the bias because I love the lines of it, and I didn't want it to go sideways. So no, it's not on the bias. And you're probably asking because many people saw me post on Instagram on my Insta stories, which only last like one day, but maybe I could rehash that and put it up. I was showing the flow of the skirt. It's amazing because it's so lightweight. So yes, nope. And then let's see, what else do we have here? Okay, so here's another buddy of ours, Richard. He sews for his wife. I can't boil an egg either. I leave it up to Jackie, although, and he said he thought he had a lot of fabric. So he sews for his wife, which I keep telling Win every time Richard posts something. Hey, Win, you know what? You should take up sewing. And he reminds me that he sewed a shirt in high school. That was a long time ago, right? Yeah. Okay, Darlene wants to know your website again. It's spelled out, MrDomestic.net.
It is.
And your Instagram handle is
Mr. Domestic. I'm Mr. Domestic everywhere. MisterDomestic. I spelled early in the morning. Yay. And I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, blog. Those are my main ones.
Everywhere. And if you go to his blog, you can find all the links. So and if you're not on Instagram, go to his Facebook because you got to see what I can't wait to see what comes out.
Me too.
Amy says all of our friends in California are like, it's 8:15 in the morning.
We're doing it, folks. We're doing it.
Oh, that's funny. Let's see. Here's Kay. She says she's from Michigan. Hi, Kay. You're probably down the street from me, maybe. Although we have a big state. She said she's jealous. She wishes her stash was as organized as Matthew's. You know, I didn't even notice that part. Yeah, you're pretty organized. Do you have it organized by color, type, what?
I have, okay. Over here are my apparel substrates. Over here, this is my main section since it's in my video, so it's got to be colorful. So I have my solids, and then that's my fabric. And then over here, I have like, it's organized by colors. And then up there, I have organized by designers. That if there's specific collections by designers that I really want to play with, then that's how it's organized. And then these are my knits. I organized it once because generally it wasn't like this, but I did it because someone came over and filmed at my house. So I was like, I got to make my studio look pretty. And it stayed. Yay.
Yeah, well, okay, so that's the big thing. It stayed. I'm not even going to show you. I would be embarrassed to show you what's on that table right now. Well, because I'm going to be moving, not far, only like a mile down the street. But just doing that, I always swore if I left this studio right here, that I would quit my job. But I found a really awesome location. So I'm moving, and my husband said he'll move all my fabric. But right now, let's see. You ready for this is scary.
That's real life, y'all.
One end, because I'm trying to do inventory. Oh, yeah. There's my computers. You can't see all the rest. The computers are in the way.
No,
sorry.
That's how it is. That's how it is, folks. For those of us who do videos, too, we have found one section that is presentable. The rest of it ain't like that. So don't let people fool you.
That's my sewing. Where I really sew all the time is over there. And when I got these new horn cabinets, they came on wheels. And I'm like, perfect. After filming anything, they roll over there, and I bring up my machines, and everything turns into a chaotic mess. But you know what? I love it. But okay,
that's
so
real life. That's how it works for all of us, right?
Are you a perfectionist?
No.
Okay,
I'm not. Well, okay,
not at all?
Well, there's kind of like two people living in me, right? So, how I'm able to sew so quickly is that my general rule of thumb is I strive for 95% perfection. That's my mantra. That's what I tell people when I teach, because I feel like that last 5% can steal your joy. And I'm all about the journey, not the destination. that being said, there are moments when I am really perfectionistic. Like it's going to be like in a magazine or a show, then I'll do it. But for the most part, no. Like I feel like I like to give my stuff away. And if it's anyone that will notice the flaw, then they don't get anything from me again. Like it's like I want I want them to notice the 95% beauty and not the flaws in it. So
Right.
mm-mm.
I agree. And when I teach, I find that a lot. I'm a perfectionist, but to the point where, well, because I've done so many garments and they're going to be outworn. A lot of them are very couture gowns, thousands of dollars. So the inside looks better than the outside most of the time.
Yep.
But I got to the point where perfectionism, if you go what you just said, if it goes too far, you take the joy out of it. And through teaching, I've met students that they just like absolutely freeze because they're such a perfectionist. They're afraid to go further. And I try to encourage them, just do it. If you screw up, buy an extra yard and a half of fabric. I mean, really.
Yep.
It's true. You got to just try it, because if you don't, you never will. And most people will not even see the sins of.
They don't see it. They don't notice it. And just the more you sew, the more I sew. I would say most of my stuff doesn't have but like 1 or 2 flaws in it, if that. It's just the more you do it, the better you become. It's just about finishing. Like finished is way more important than being perfect, especially if you're starting out.
That is so true. Okay, so I'm going to put you on the spot on this one because I just did this recently. So I'm going to try to make myself feel better, unless you say, no, you never have made a mistake. But have you made like a catastrophe, like something that you're like, oh my gosh. Okay, so let me just give you an example. If you're working on a beautiful couture gown, and yours would be a beautiful couture quilt, and you accidentally drop the scissors or use a seam ripper or do something where you create a little itty bitty hole, which I repaired by embroidering over it. But after I had a complete panic attack, what is your worst, if you want to share, your worst mistake, or one that's like the most recent that you could think of, that you had to like fix up?
Yeah, there was one. I was actually making myself a knit shirt. It was, and knit shirts, t-shirts are easy. Like, they're so easy. If you know how to sew knit, you know how to. But I decided to put a pocket on there without, like, testing to see if it was in the right place. And it wasn't. It was, like, way down here, like, not even covering up, like, my nipple or anything. I was like, okay, I've got to move it. So I got my seam ripper out. And, you can't really seam rip like knit. And I ripped a hole in it. And, like, of course, I was all drama. And I just, like, ripped it apart. And I was like, ah. But then I looked at what I had and I cut it a little dress for Helena. I turned it into a dress. So it was like, okay.
Salvage.
Yeah, it became super cute. But yeah, I've had those. And then there was another time, because I always try to like bring apparel substrates into quilting. There was a time I was trying to make a knit string block 6x6 quilt, which is like everything's on the bias on the diagonal, and I interfaced it all. And I couldn't get it to square up for the life of me. And I realized that you can't do that with knit. And that was hard because I spent like 12 hours already on it. But that was when I just like was like, I'm done with that. Whatever. I cried a little bit, but it happens.
So it went into the stash pile. Did you throw it away, or is it in like one of those?
No, I made I made pillows instead. I mean,
that's awesome. I can't think of. I've made like some really stupid mistakes. I think one of the worst ones that I shared in my book years ago was that I had, when I first met my husband, I was right out of college. My wardrobe was pathetic. It was like colored jeans. It's everything it is now, right? Colored jeans and short crop tops.
Right.
And he said, "Could you go to this business meeting with me?" And I'm thinking, I started my own business and I bartended at night, so my wardrobe was very limited. So, okay, sure. So I made this really cute suit. It was like Chanel-like. It started at 10 a.m. He picked me up at 6 p.m. At 5:45, I finished it all fully lined, everything, and I put it on, and I sewed the 2-piece sleeves on backwards. So I've shared this story before, but I had to stand like this. So like your 2-piece sleeve, you know how it bends to your arm? I had to stand like this all night. So then I went to have wrinkles.
Oh my gosh.
It was terrible. So, and my shoulders were arched back to this lady in the restroom. She said, "Oh my gosh, that suit is beautiful." And I'm like, "Thank you." I'm waiting to wash my hands right till after she leaves because my hands are back here. And then I said, I said, oh, thank you. And she says, and your posture is so good for a young lady. Lady, if you only knew how uncomfortable I am.
Right. But
And
you
that
look
was
cute. But you look cute.
Oh, it was cute. But I sewed with like a 2.0 stitch at that time because I didn't know any different.
Right.
So, I mean, there was no way that was being ripped out. So,
Right.
What is your most common when quilting? Is your stitch length that is your go-to for when you're sewing your cotton, like your pieces?
2.5. 2.5.
2.5?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite thread?
I have different ones. I'm exploring. For the longest time, I used Aurifil because I was partnered with them. But I'm learning more about like poly and polywovens, and I don't know all of them. But I love Wonderfil now. It's just lovely. I've been using them a lot, especially in my knits or if I don't want something to pop, because it's a polyester and it's weirdly strong. And it looks like cotton to me, which is weird. But yeah, my favorite is whatever is around.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite?
I really don't. I end up using just universal poly thread for almost everything except for when I'm dyeing my fabrics. A lot of times, like this, like for me not to like put this in the dye real quick and like give it like the cotton part, of course, not right, your skirt. But I love to use cotton thread for that because then it dyes the same color, or it takes out. I love it all. I don't really have. I use a lot of Coats and Clark because they sponsor It's So Easy TV show. Yeah. So I have a pretty good stash of that, and I've never had. I have people say that they have issues. I've never had issues with it, and I think it works great. As far as for the serger, I usually just use whatever I can get. You know, like you said, whatever's laying around at the time.
Oh yeah, serger. I just get those big old cones that are on sale at Joann's or whatever. I'm like, okay, those work. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Have you tried anything with the woolly nylon or any of the stretch threads?
Yes, I use that when I sew with knit. I put it in my bobbin when I sew knits and stuff, and because it helps and it's lovely.
It's really nice. Mm-hmm. Okay, I got a few more questions. I don't want to keep you too long.
Oh, I'm having fun. This is fun. We can chat all day.
This is very fun. Okay, somebody says, oh, hold on, there's a whole bunch on here. Janet says, I'm afraid I have you beat, but I'm not showing you my stash. That's hilarious.
Hopefully it hasn't created any issues in the household.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I always tell my mom, my mom will say, I have to get rid of some fabric. And I said, well, I do too. And she said, well, you have a business. I'm like, that's the only reason I started the business, was so I didn't look like a fabric hoarder. Darlene says, anyone wanting to get rid of their stash, call her. So I'm rolling through these questions, and I'm going to skip to the top. If any of you have specific questions for Matthew, here's one. Jane says, Matthew, how do you decide how to quilt the quilt?
Usually the fabric will tell me. Like when I'm done, I don't really make a decision on quilting until it's all done. And a lot of times I like to follow if there's a pattern in the quilt or a natural line or a seam line, just to echo that. That's my aesthetic in quilting. That's why I don't do a lot of free motion quilting, because I like straight line, and I just because it's just cleaner to me, and so that's my jam whenever I quilt. It's usually the fabric says so, or so it tells me what to do.
That's interesting. I would say for my quilting design, it's usually the fabric or the design the same. Like when I do the quilting for my garments. Right. So are you inspired more from the fabric or patterns, or do you have a design in your head and you find the fabric? For me, I find the fabric. Well, I do both, but I would have to say this is where my fabric hoarding problem comes, because I'll go to the store and I'll think, oh, this would be a beautiful blouse, and then I don't have time to make the blouse. But fabric inspires me to make the designs that I'm making. How about you?
Both. Yeah, it's both. Sometimes I'll see fabric and I'll be like, oh, I've got to make something with it. I don't know what yet, but I've got to make it. And honestly, those are more often than not the times that the fabric just stays on the thing up there. That's why there's all of that. But then, like, I like to make patterns from other people and like help people out and stuff. So a lot of times I'll like search for a pattern or search for something and then decide the fabric after.
That's awesome.
Both, really. There's not one way. Like both. It's just whatever.
Yeah. That's very cool. Well, my sister just had twin girls, but they're a little bit young for Helena. So once I start my girls' patterns, I'll let you know.
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it. Let's do it.
I'll be passing it over. Okay, I'll bring this up and then I'll bring it down because it's covering our heads up. But Jen wants to know, I found Matthew's fabric line at artgalleryfabrics.com, and I'm trying to figure out how I can tell which of the cottons are better for quilting and which are better for garments. Any tips and what to look for?
Well, use it for everything.
Yeah,
But
I'm
no,
thinking
honestly,
I'm
that's
thinking
one
the
of the
same thing.
yeah, that's one of the reasons that another reason that I went with Art Gallery Fabrics is because the hand, it's different than traditional like quilters cotton, which is a lot of times scratchy. This one I find it's really soft to where I've made like a lot of button up shirts that are comfortable that I don't have to wear like an undershirt with out of the fabric. So I wouldn't limit yourself. Like, and also I'm kind of weird. I've used the rayon for a quilt back before and I love
Oh,
it.
that would
So
be so luxurious.
yeah, it's so soft and lovely. So it's like really whatever floats your boat. Don't limit. Just go for it. Have fun.
Okay, Jen, I'm going to be ordering some of that cotton too, because whenever I hear cotton, I have this like,
Yep.
just because I'm picturing what you just said, the stiff,
Yep.
and I'll use it for dresses and stuff, or wash the heck out of it until
Yep.
it's like so destroyed, so it's soft.
But like this one, right? I didn't make this. What someone made it for my market but it's so soft. Like even like it's a quilter's cotton, but the drape is amazing.
Oh my gosh,
It.
is that cute?
And like the little ruffles you can do with it, like it's not like the other quilter's cotton that's out there. It's pretty neat. I
Oh
love
yeah,
it.
there you go. Definitely a good drape.
Like, right? It's neat.
Okay, let's see. We got a few more up here. Let's see. Kay says, when you sew and can design things the way you like, you can't find anything in the store. Yeah, that is true. She has a 45 class reunion in October. Can't find anything. Okay, Kay. Well, you could make a quilt and wear it as a jacket. Oh, you know what? That is true, though. When you sew,
nothing is now. Once you know how to make something for your own body that just fits perfect, you can't. It's hard to find stuff in the store anymore.
So, Matthew, do you have? And this might Kay probably has the same thing if she sews for garments. You'll have like a few patterns laying around, like slopers. Do you have a guy's shirt or a certain sloper that you have that fits you, that your go-to, like if you know you want a shirt or you want something that you don't have?
It's the one that I go for right now is McCall's M6604 or M6044. It's kind of got a vintage flair to it, and I kind of tweaked the pattern to where it's like it fits just me for my own body. But that one's my go-to. But I'm gonna start exploring a couple other ones. I have a couple from Mimi G over here. One is a raglan and one is a button-up shirt that I'm about to try and see how that works. So hopefully those end up being my next go-tos.
I saw Mimi G had some guy patterns out now because I've seen some of the stuff on Instagram. I love her stuff.
Oh my gosh, yeah, she's cool. She's too cool for school.
Okay, here's one for you. Jackie wants to know, what size quilts do you usually make?
Smaller, like throw quilts. I think the ideal size is like a 60 by 80 quilt. It's not too big, not too small. I like finished. I don't like mini quilts. I don't understand them. They don't make sense to me, like why people make mini ones. But a throw, that's enough for me and Helena to snuggle under.
Perfect. I love that. Okay, so Kathy's Strong. Oh, by the way, Kathy, she sent me this awesome. Here's my little sewing thing. Her grandfather made it, and there's like a thread and then a magnet for my needle and a little place for my scissors. Oh my gosh, it's precious.
How cool is that?
I know. Don't you love? I love all these people that I see everywhere.
Yes, there's so much love out there in this community. It is amazing.
I know. It's like thousands. I said something the other day in one of my groups before I get to Kathy's comment. I said, I have a secret to share with you guys. I might be moving my studio. And somebody wrote, and that was in my private group, not on the Facebook page. And they said, you're sharing it with like 4,000 of your private friends. I'm like, yep. You guys are the only ones that'll get it. Okay, so Kathy says, OMG, I love your laugh, Matthew. I love your sewing motto. So that's very cool.
Thank you. I love you.
Robin says, I have maybe 200 pounds of fabric. I have an addiction. Oh gosh, I've never weighed mine. That wouldn't, yeah.
That sounds lovely. That doesn't sound like an addiction. That sounds love. That sounds like love. Agree. That's 200 pounds of love.
Susie, hi Susie, by the way. Susie says she just joined in. Matthew, do you hand bind or machine bind your quilt?
If it's gonna be in a show, I'll hand bind it. If it's gonna be for utility, then I machine bind it. I like being done. Like usually by the time I get to the end of a quilt, the last thing I want to do is sit and like bind something for like another 4 hours when I can finish it in like 15 minutes. So it's like
that is so funny. Yeah. I could definitely get that. I love doing the couture jackets, and a lot of it's hand sewing the lining. But then when I get to the trim, I feel the same way. It's like, just get it done. I want to wear it.
Get it done. Before I hate you, I want to finish you. That's what I want.
Okay. That's a great quote. Do you have any videos? I've been watching, you have some great videos up on YouTube. Do you have any videos on YouTube that show your binding or anything like that with quilting?
I do. I have a machine binding made easy video on my YouTube. Yeah, just Google that and you'll find it. It's really easy peasy. 1, 2, 3, Z. I've got a 5-year-old. Oh my god.
Well, you know what? So what's interesting is a lot of my friends that are just getting into quilting, as myself, as far as like doing it something that's square and not on your body. That was like so perplexing to me. I'm like, how do you get around the corners? And it's really not that difficult, but when your mind isn't working that way, and you can totally use that for garments too, though.
Yep. I use a lot of, because that's part of the reason I got into quilting, was to learn all the techniques to bring into apparel. I just haven't gotten out of quilting yet. I probably won't because it's fun. But yeah, you can interchange a lot of the techniques and it's super fun.
Absolutely. Okay, Tammy says, Matthew, love you more after listening to you. Okay, Tammy, I think he's going to love you too.
I love you back. You're amazing.
And you've got a ton of people on here. Hi from Ypsilanti. And everybody's saying, I forgot you were on early, so they're popping in a little bit late. And Jen says she can't wait to get some of your cotton fabric. So,
aww, thank you. Buy all the fabric.
Here's one. Kay says, I'm like Matthew. If I see something, I think of a person, then I have to make this for, and I find out I only have 2 months to make it. Oh, I have a stash of stuff that, like, sad to say, I actually cut them out last summer. All these colored jeans. By the time I get them sewn, they're not going to be in style anymore. I'm going to have to wait for another 15 years for it to come back around on them. Okay. Here's one. Pertaining to the dress you just showed. That would be you, Matthew, that dress. Richard wants to know, someone had a question about doing even ruffles. Do you have any suggestions for that?
Even ruffles?
Yeah, evening the ruffles.
I mean, I do mine on the machine, right? Where you just set the stitch length up high and the tension up high to where it's high tension, high stitch length, and it just does it for you.
Nice. You don't use a special foot or anything? You just... Okay, that's a really good tip. So I'm still a little bit of the old school where I like to do the basting. I did that for my little nieces. I did this last week, actually. It's still here since I haven't been in my office, where I did the basting stitch down the center, scrunched it up, and then pinned it in place and attached it, because it was only like this much of a space.
Right.
But I don't use the special foot for ruffling because I don't find that, well, I have it. I just haven't used it, I guess, enough. But yeah, everybody has their own way.
Yeah. Once you find a way to do it, it's like you're good. Why you need it? Like, I'm good. Like, I don't need to mess around with a new foot.
Okay, and I see some people asking about that. So you use a higher stitch length.
Yes. I increase the stitch length to as high as it goes, and then I'll increase the tension to where, and then it just naturally pulls on it to where it's even. And then a couple times I'll have to because it has to be perfect, right, to fit around like the bodice of a dress or whatever, or like an arm. So if it's wrong or if it's too tight, usually it becomes too tight, then I'll just decrease the tension a little bit until it gets right. And I might have to do it 2 or 3 times till it's perfect. But then it's lovely.
Perfect. That sounds very easy. I see a lot of like these these like wow faces. I always forget what that emoji is called. The one that's like, I'm shocked. I think you just put a light bulb on for a lot of people.
Yay, light bulbs.
Okay. Yeah. Lori wants to know, what is the price point of your fabric?
I think on Art Gallery Fabrics, the quilter's cotton is like $10 a yard. 10 something, I think.
That's very reasonable.
I think it's very reasonable. It's high end. It's lovely. It's got the best hand, and the designs are amazing.
concur. And I cannot wait to see what else is coming out. I'm just going to bring up a few more questions because our show is almost up. And Matthew, you have to work today. What are you doing today?
After this, I have a conference call for work. And then, because I'm in pharmaceutical sales. And then I have to go to a lunch appointment. And then another appointment.
I thought I read that on there. So you're in pharmaceutical sales.
I am.
That's awesome. Did I read oncology?
No, I was in oncology before. Now I'm in HIV.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. It's great.
So how many hours a week do you have to work, and how many hours, not have to, but like work, and how many hours do you spend quilting and doing everything that you're on the social side?
I mean, like work at like 40, 50, 60, but I fly around a lot too. So that's where I get a lot of my hand sewing and stuff, like my English paper piecing on the plane. So that's work. And then Mr. Domestic, like 20, 30 hours. No.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're like me, you never sleep.
No, you're just busy.
I know, I bring mine on the airplane, on the boat usually is where I have mine, but now so much of mine, of the pattern design is on my laptop, so that's why not so much sewing.
Yeah, my husband sews too. My husband fishes, so I go out and I like sew, and we have a tent because it's usually like plunking or whatever, and then I'll bring my computer and get some working done. It's like, that's how I fish. I don't.
That's hilarious. Well, if you're in Michigan, you guys have to come out. You can sit on the leather couch and work on the computer.
I will do that. That's my version.
Okay, so speaking of flying, we had this conversation, the whole group of us, maybe a few months ago. We're talking about traveling to events.
Yeah.
Have you flown with the sewing machine?
Yes.
And did you put it in carry-on or like above your head, or did you actually check it?
I checked it, and the bobbin thing broke, and I was so sad. It made me sad. No. And I was like, it was on my machine, Chet, and Chet is very mad because I need to fix him. It just snapped off. But I need to get a better, it was like the case I had it in wasn't awesome, so I need to get a better case that's cushiony.
Yeah.
Because now it's like they have really strict, like I fly Alaska a lot, and they have like really strict, like you have to stick your thing in there, and I don't think most sewing machines would fit.
I don't think so either. They've gotten super strict. Even like I had 2 laptops in one of my bags. Now they're like, now you got to take them out if there's more than one laptop. So I try to bring 2 different bags, but then you can only have one bag. It's like, come on, guys, give me a break. Right. I gave up on the scissors thing because if I got one of my Kai scissors taken there, I would probably have a meltdown.
Well, the rule is 4 inches or less, right, of the blade?
Yeah, it used to be 7 inches, but now is it 4 inches now?
Yeah, but then I've heard, because I travel all the time and I'll take pictures, and somehow rotary cutters get through. I don't know. And then, oopsie daisies. And then, but every time I post a picture, there's always someone that says that their scissors got taken. So it's like, I would not like put like expensive scissors in your carry-on. No.
Well, the rotary cutter reminds me of the time that they took my screwdriver out of a pocket, which I don't even know what I was doing with the screwdriver. It was from the boat in Florida. Oh, I know. I bought this one at Ace Hardware, and it had like, Win had taken mine, and he lost all the pieces. It's the one that turns, and you have every little finish. And I was so excited to find another one of these, and I had it in my jacket pocket, and they took it because it was longer than 7 inches. But they left my mace in the other pocket. I was like, I give up. I give up.
Okay, priorities.
Yeah. I know. Okay, so I got a couple more questions for you. Kay says, tell me, I'm not the only one that finishes binding in the car on the way to give it to someone or at the airport.
Oh,
I don't think you're the only one that sews in the car. No, definitely. Kay wants to know where you can find my pattern. You can find all my stuff at angelawolfpatterns.com. The blog post that I did for him on this with my new fabric is at fashionsewingwithangelawolf.com. If the website, either one is loading slow, I did a really stupid thing a couple days ago, like an update. Yeah, that's what you get when you do the computer on yourself. So anyway,
yes.
So
yes.
That's all I can say. Okay, so here you go. Pam says, so using the quote, before I hate you, I want to finish you. That's Matthew's new quote.
Put the hashtag, put that on a pillow. There you go.
That's awesome. Oh, gosh. Okay, so Pam wants to know, are you going to Houston Quilt Fest?
I don't know. Like, it depends on the hour of the day as to whether I'm going. Like, it's like I'm like, no, I'm not gonna go. Then I'm gonna go. Now where I am is I might have a half booth at the market because I'm from Houston, so it's like I kind of feel like I should go sometime and maybe say hi to my family and stuff. So
Yes, you
maybe,
probably should. And the Houston
maybe,
Quilt Fest would be a good time. Then you can see all your friends
yeah,
too.
yeah. Then I can see that my family and then be like, I've got to go. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go. Well, if you do come there, I'll be in the All Brands booth for Thursday,
You
Friday,
will?
Saturday.
You will? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Then we can hug and stuff. See,
Yeah, so
that
then
goes
you could
that
be
goes
part
in
of
the
the
pro.
Facebook Live there.
That goes in the pro category. Okay, I probably will. We'll see. Okay. I don't know.
I know. Well, that's a ways off.
Ah!
Okay, so Mary, more people are asking where to buy the fabrics online. There's a ton of places. Go to MrDomestic.net, and if you go to his Love to Pieces blog party giveaway, he has a whole list there of where you can buy the fabrics, and you can Google it.
Yeah,
You can always,
I would Google. I mean, they have it at fabric.com. They have it at Hawthorne Threads. They have it at Fat Quarter Shop. They have it at Pink Castle Fabrics. They have it. There's a lot of places that are carrying it.
yeah.
You should.
And I'm gonna get some cotton because if it's that soft, I'm
It
sold on it.
is. It is. It's like really cool soft.
And since you sew garments, you know you're not offended when I said when I hear cotton, I'm like,
No, I'm not at all. No, because that's my thing. I'm like,
yeah,
no, gross. But when I found Art Gallery, I was like, oh, this is different. Because quilters cotton, it's like, it doesn't feel good. And like, I'm shocked that that's the kind of like feel of a fabric that people want to make quilts off of, that they're going to snuggle with. Because it's not, like, that's not comfy. You want comfy. But no,
right.
this stuff, Art Gallery Fabrics is not like that.
Well, I was impressed. So I'm
Yay.
going to. There's a ton of people on here. If you get time later, you're bored, roll through here because there's
I
so
will.
many people saying hi to you. They love you. Do you ever come to Paducah, Kentucky for International Quilt Show? There's a whole bunch like that.
Oh, I will. I probably will do everything one day.
And Kay says Kay is one. She's on here every week. Hi, Kay. She's got little kids. She said she wants to hang out with us at Quilt Fest.
Oh, it's a party.
Oh, yes. And so now you have your own hashtag. Here we go again. Debbie says, yes. Hashtag, before I hate you, I want to finish you.
That's the best.
I knew something would. That's great.
Yay.
Well, anyways, Matthew, I thank you for letting me take up an entire hour of yours today.
Oh my God, you're so much fun. You're a delight. I had so much fun. Thanks for having me.
I'm honored to be part of your blog tour. Everyone, go check out this. Every single day, somebody is doing something with his fabric, from garment to quilting to I don't know what. But that you got to see the one where she's standing on the edge of a cliff.
it's wackadoodle amazing. Like, it's really cool.
So Matthew, thank you for being here. All the sewing fans love you. I just am amazed. I love your stuff, and I'm honored that you came on the show. And I'm so glad to be part of this blogging. Your fabric is amazing. I'm looking forward to sewing more. When your next collection comes out, if you do a blog tour, I want to be part.
And honestly, the rayon, like, the rayon in it is like the print and the color. Ooh, it's sexy. It's really good. It's really good. Yeah, my next collection, the rayon. Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
I got your number. I'm in.
All right, thank you all. If you want to find Matthew, go to MrDomestic.net, and he's on Instagram. Oh, tell him about the content. I totally forgot about that. You've been doing giveaways every week, so tell them how they can.
Through the blog party, I'm doing Fat Quarter Shop reached out, and they're sponsoring a giveaway every week of a Fat Quarter bundle of Love to Pieces. And all you need to do, it's on Instagram. So if you're not on Instagram, sorry, get on Instagram. But then all you have to do is follow the people of that week, and then you're eligible. And then I'll pick someone on Saturday. And it's for 4 weeks. I'm doing that. So free stuff.
I think that's awesome. By the way, I woke up one morning and Instagram is like such a nemesis when it comes to trying to get more fans, because I didn't get in right away when everybody else did. Right. I was kind of like the late bloomer on that. And I'm like, gosh, it's like impossible. And then I joined your blog and I opened my Instagram. I'm like, wow, where did all these people come from?
Yay, so that makes me happy.
For that, by the way. Thank you. All right, Matthew, thank you so much. Have a great week. And honored that you came on here. Keep in touch.
I will. Bye.
Bye. So I hope you guys all enjoyed having Matthew on here. This was such a fun show. When I was asked to do these garments, I was so thrilled. I'm going to give you a lot of tips for sewing the cotton. We ran out of time today, but I took photos and a lot of video of sewing with the cotton. On the edges here, I used the double cover hem machine, which I'll show you. But if you want the full blog post on the skirt, how I manage that rayon, here's a little tip for you. See how slinky this is? So let me just set this back just a smidge. Can't tell like what's going on in here. So this is how slippery it is when you're sewing. So I actually did not use pins when I sewed the seam. Instead, I would use my hands to hold, and I'll just use this selvage here to show you. So when I would sew, this would be in the sewing machine, and I would check where the side seam is matching up to make sure it looks good, and I would hold my fingers there, just like this. And then I would sew to that point, stop, and I would maneuver my hands down a little bit further and hold it and sew. That's really the only way to keep that seam lined up. If you use pins, I just don't think it's going to be as accurate. I used interfacing where the zipper goes, just a small strip. It did not show through. You can see, I'll show you this one more time over here. This is where the zipper is. This is why I put it on the dress form, because I knew you'd want me to move it around. And I'm not taking my dress off. A little bit of interfacing, just a really small bit. If you were on Instagram, you'll know that I used a dark navy zipper, which doesn't even match, but it's all that I had. And guess what? You can't even see it. So, and then of course the shirt, which we'll talk about next week. I did a few changes. I turned the shirt, I cut the back out a little bit smaller. So you can't really tell on here, but I cut this back a little bit. I used the twisted collar, and I added ruching, but I did it uneven. So this side has ruching from here to here, and this side has ruching from here to here. So I think I'm going to have two fabulous outfits to wear, one skirt, two tops, for fishing next week, which is where I'm off to. This is the big tournament. We've got like, I don't know, 6 days of fishing. I'm like Matthew, though. I'm going to have my laptop on there because I have a ton of work. I just sit on the leather couch and run out when we catch a fish, or have to net, or whatever I have to do. I love fishing, though. So next week, by the way, this week was early because I got to run. But next week, hopefully we'll still be here same time. It depends. Keep an eye out on Facebook. I'll leave a note. We are fishing in a tournament that day. So remember last year when we did the live show from the boat, I'm actually bringing my little Strong and Tough machine to sew on the boat because I'm working on a project. I'll tell you what that is. That was like the oddest wink ever. I was trying to wink, but that didn't work so well. So anyways, thank you for joining. Be sure to visit Matthew, and be sure if you're on Instagram to go to his page, Mr. Domestic. He tells you what you have to do. You have to like the people of the week, and then he has a giveaway on Saturday. So this Saturday, I believe, was some of my fabrics. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure. All right. Bye, you guys. Have a great week. Don't forget, I will go back and read your comments. If you're popping in late because you didn't realize we were early, no problem. Have a great week. See ya.